And there it is. All right. So I'm going to start with welcome everybody to this meeting of the DuPage Higher Education Service Council. We are so very excited that everyone is here to join us today. This is a big meeting for us, as you know, we are approaching the summer months and hoping to really continue that momentum that we've been having and making this, continuing this great progress that we've been having since we kind of started putting all this together. And I am going to, hold on one second. Alrighty. Move forward. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Cameras are always encouraged in this virtual world, but we recognize that that's not always an option. So totally up to you. Also, please be mindful of your mute button so that we can keep the extra background noise to a minimum. At any point during this meeting, feel free to use the chat for questions. We will be monitoring that. Yes, to answer everyone's question, meeting materials will be shared. And then I would like to right now take a group photo with everybody. So I'm going to set that up. We got everybody on one page, which is awesome. So I am going to count down from 3 and maybe smile a little early in case there's a lag. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, let me double check, make sure we got that. And it's good. Great, thank you all. That's they've been really cool memories to have of the meetings. So I am going to press on from there. Oops, let's see if we can get presentation mode. All right. So next, just a quick recap of our agenda. You should have all received it in email this morning, but we're going to go over a few announcements. We're going to then talk about the mission statement for the council, do some feedback from you all, talk about some volunteerism, and then wrap up with next steps. And then following the meeting will be the 30-minute optional networking session for anybody who wants to hang around. We will be here for that. So I'm going to open up a poll. It is completely anonymous, and it's really, there are no wrong answers. It's just so that we can kind of get an idea of how what everybody knows and what we need to do better on our end. So this is really just some quick feedback for how we can improve. So feel free to answer those, just 5 super quick questions. We'll just give a couple, probably a minute for that.
Don't forget to scroll down to get to all the poll questions.
Yes, thank you.
That's the kind of mistake I would make.
Yeah, there are 5 questions, 5 yes or no questions. Awesome. Okay. Great. We'll see if we can get maybe one more person in. We're at 14 out of 17. So, all right. Awesome. All right. I'm going to close that out so we can keep on moving with things. And I don't need to share results because I want to keep this anonymous, make everybody keep things the way. All right. I am downloading the poll, so hold on one second. Let me get back to sharing. All right. The poll has disappeared. Am I correct? Okay. Thank you. All right. Ooh. Oops, sorry about that. PowerPoint is messing with me today. So I do want to kind of re-announce this. You should have all, or many of you have received an email about this since it was a couple weeks ago now, but we have created the Higher Education Community Assets and Resources, which is the first ever digital book of higher education assets and resources, voluntarily closed by some DHESC member institutions. We are so excited to have been able to produce this resource this year. This link down here is actually where you can find it at our webpage. It is an amazing compilation of the dedication of higher education to our community, and it's a really great resource that the nonprofits, I'm sure, will be utilizing a lot to really understand what our higher education has to offer in DuPage County. To keep with time, we're going to keep moving, but hopefully I'll be able to circle back to this later and kind of show you guys on the website what it looks like. The next is the DuPage Higher Education Service Council user group, which is on the Giving DuPage volunteer portal. So this is actually what all those questions in the poll were about, was the volunteer portal and this user group. And so I just want to give a recap for those of you who have been using it. We have 34 group members in there, which is fantastic. We have 9 reported volunteer hours through this user group. So those students and faculty and staff who have volunteered have reported those hours, and we have 9 tracked hours. And the value of those hours, that impact value of 9 hours of service, is $216.72, which is a really fantastic number to think about how much your service is worth and how much your volunteerism means to the organizations that you serve. If anyone's curious, the Illinois state value of volunteering is $29.37 as of 2020, which per hour, which I think is really incredible, just to know how valuable your volunteerism really is.
Can you restate that number? I'll add it into the chat. What's the dollar value?
Yeah, $29.37 an hour.
Thank you.
Is crazy, crazy to think about. So we're going to get ahead and start about the mission statement. And so we're just I'm going to start in this discussion. We'll be having a discussion about it in a moment, but I really want to define first the purpose of a mission statement. And there are 3 big purposes. First is to inform on what you do. So it is to be an informative statement. The next is to focus and motivate the team. So it's really, what we've been talking about these past few months about the mission statement for this council is that we want it to be something that all of the institutions involved can really get behind and help focus our efforts together. And lastly, it is to guide planning and decisions. So it is kind of that tool that helps us really understand where we are meant to focus all of our efforts. Next, I'm going to talk about the guidelines of a mission statement, just to kind of help everybody understand what we're looking for to really have a useful and successful mission statement. It should be very clear and easy to understand. So, for example, big words and jargon that may not be understood by many. The intent of a mission statement really is for everyone who reads it to understand and get an idea of what we do. It should be concise, so very short and to the point. To point. I just noticed that. I'm sorry. To the point. And so really just getting to what it is we're about and at the root of everything. And then it should be useful. And that means to inform, to focus, and guide, which we kind of already talked about in the purposes as well. So keep those in mind. This is the word cloud, one of the word clouds that we did in the last meeting in April. And when we asked everyone, who does DHESC serve? And this is the word cloud, just a reminder for everybody about the responses that were put in this activity. We can see the bigger words are actually the ones that were put in more times than the smaller words were, to see where more people were answering with the same response. And what does DHESC do? This is the other word cloud we did. Again, seeing that those big words, what those are, where we all kind of agree, as well as all of the smaller things that everybody mentioned. And recap. So the keywords that we really pulled out from the word cloud activity on who we serve were community, students, and DuPage. Those were the biggest words in the word cloud, meaning that the most people were saying, this is who we serve. And also, what does DHESC do? Those big words were service and connect. So those 2 really stuck out to us as the things that everybody was really saying, this is what we're about, this is what we do. And so we put together a proposal statement for you all that is this. DHESC is a student-led higher education collaboration with a mission to address the needs of the DuPage community through service. Now, what we would like to do is have kind of some discussion around this, get any feedback from you all. Is there anything we're missing that is important to this council? And want to clarify that when we say collaboration, we mean anything from networking, connecting, partnerships, sharing those best practices, utilizing the resources of higher education, and anything that really comes with groups of people and organizations and institutions working together. And I am going to now open up the floor. Feel free to unmute or type in the chat any feedback or thoughts on this.
We really would love everyone's feedback. So this is going to be sort of our mission statement or our guiding statement for this council as we move into year 2. So please take a look at it, share your thoughts. We definitely want to hear from everybody. Again, chat or in person, unmute, whichever. I definitely want to hear from the students. I know we only have a handful of students today, but you guys are small but mighty today. So your voice really counts.
I do have one question, and maybe I was just looking at the notes when we originally met with Elizabeth, I think it was last week, and nonprofit is different than higher education. Do you want to add a term about nonprofit, or, and nonprofits, or maybe I missed?
No, that's a really good point. So we, and certainly like if others feel strongly about it, we thought by saying needs of the DuPage community would cover that. For us, that covers the nonprofit sector because they're the ones predominantly working on. So it's really us building a collaboration with any organization, nonprofits, sometimes government agencies, sometimes supporting agencies like WorkNet, DuPage, any agency that's working on addressing like the most important needs of the DuPage community, that's who we're building a collaboration with. So that was where we kind of tucked it under for us. But I would love to hear, I mean, that's great feedback. Thank you, Candace. And for anyone else who wants to like chime in on that, if you guys feel nonprofit is really important in there, like to specify that, let us know so that we can like put it in the chat or unmute again, so we can kind of get everyone's feedback and thoughts. I know it's too. Oh, go ahead, Anthony. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony. I'm from College DuPage. I like the idea of using a subpoint to provide more specificity to some of the words that we use in the mission statement, like collaboration. What do we mean by that? I like a mission statement. I think mission statements are very helpful when they're open-ended, but there's some specificity to them, like collaboration and community. They're more broad words that allow us to, be innovative, not locked down into one corner, like to corner ourselves in for the future if we, decide to change or adapt some of the work that we do. But I like any kind of further clarification of the words that we put in here to be put as like a sub point, not in the mission statement so it's super long, but something that can just help support the mission statement. So
absolutely great feedback. Thank you.
If there's anything that we could, my thought, if there's anything that we could add as almost like a sub point is on higher education. Like, what do we mean by higher education? Are we specifically talking about colleges? What about high school students? What other resources are we adding from the higher education that could kind of, bolster collaboration, like research?
Great. Thank you for that. Others? Good feedback.
I think this looks great, and I think it's so important that it says it's student-led and for it to be student-led. I'm wondering if there's a way though to include somehow like faculty staff role in here, just thinking about like turnover so that we're able to explain to the university, and then also maybe if there were new faculty and staff who were going to take this role, that they would know what their purpose is.
Good feedback. Can I ask one quick question? Do
Yes.
you think that should be somewhere in that sort of sub point thing that Anthony was mentioning, or like as an additional explanation, or should we definitely figure out a way to include it in the actual mission statement?
I think it could be a sub point just because this is student led, but I think it would work either way. I'm just thinking about like how to explain this back to stakeholders or other folks at the university.
Yep, great. Good reminder that that's something you guys are constantly being asked to do, is explain why this is an important council to be a part of, and you know, underscore the legitimacy of what we're trying to do here. So thank you.
Brianna, I see you raised your hand.
I think with school ending, I'm a student representative from North Central. I think with school ending, I was so used to raising my hand. So I just wanted to jump in. I thought Anthony made a really good point on having like sub points into like mission statements, because I really liked how this was concise and you know, very to the point, in the sense of it also incorporated a lot of those words. I think it was cautious in incorporating the words that we had come with at the last meeting, making sure things like connection was in there and service, so the things that were important to us. And I just imagine like with a short mission statement, I think like with the points that I've heard with having the sub markers underneath, I've just seen sort of like, I'm thinking of like websites or different things that people have or information that's given where it says like mission statement, but then it's like, you know, who are we? And like, you know, we're a collaboration of like these types of, you know, these administrators, like these people, these types of student representatives. And then it's like, what do we do? Or like how we define these terms, and you can have those kind of underneath. So it's kind of like you look through and kind of break down those things. So you have an overarching statement, but then you can be a little bit more specific if somebody's trying to look at this information that we have. But I definitely think that there is a struggle with like when articulating that you have such a mission statement, but then being able to, there's those little intricacies. So I think that it's very concise, but I'm not sure in my own opinion if that means that something is missing, but I do see how we could, it would benefit if somebody was looking at this information, if those sub markers, it just lets them know a little bit more about us and a little bit about the diversity of this collaboration that comes together. So I think that could be beneficial, but I think for the way the sentence is, I think it's a good start. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
No, it makes great sense. Thank you for that. And I love the word diversity of the collaboration. That's really a great way to say it. So thank you for that. That's really useful. And I think there's going to be ways for us, especially on a web page, to kind of include those subpoints visually and figure out a way to make sure we can make that come to life. So great feedback. Thank you.
I had one more comment and question that kind of picks off of what Bernadette brought up. I love the way it's written right now. And as a student, it compels me to be participative, to collaborate with you guys and to be a part of this. I love working in nonprofits. I'm a student, so I'm called by this mission. But I'm curious how it calls administrators and professors to be a part of this, because she's right. You know, I can imagine, but I'm curious from your experience as, you know, when you hear student led, perhaps, you know, you only participate when a student calls you or compels you to be a part of this, because, you know, the initiative is first brought on by students, or some project is started by a student. And so perhaps there's, you know, professor will wait until a project is given versus coming to this organization with, hey, I actually have an idea. So I'm just curious what your experience has been as administrators, as deans, as professors with, you know, higher education and student-led. How can we make this compel you guys to be a part of this as well, if it doesn't already?
It's a question for all the other campus higher ed administrator folks, and even Natalie, with your vast experience and campus compact perspective. So I'm looking for others to kind of answer. That's a really great point, Anthony. So.
I suppose I think of service naturally connected to networking collaboration. So it's difficult for me to ever see a way that this wouldn't be a part of any kind of servicey role. And as my role at Benedictine, I do a lot of local service with our students. You know, knowing resources from Giving DuPage, knowing statistics, knowing how to help our students connect, and bigger programs that we do, but also individual ones when they come to my office. So to me, it's just a natural fit. My assumption is some of my colleagues, who might have it more of like a requirement for student classes, it's more of that like practical fit for them, for a resource to share. And I think both are good. I don't know if, adding language of like supported by faculty and staff at our higher institutions within the county or something like that would help lift up what Anthony has raised, or help highlight that a little bit more, which maybe would make it more weighty for those upper administration folks who have their administrative questions oftentimes, but I really see it as just a natural connection that I couldn't not be a part of, with just how we do service at Benedictine too.
Thank you. Good. Others?
I guess I'm thinking that, even though it's a student-led, it's higher education collaboration. So, just like the needs of the DuPage community include everyone, nonprofits, higher ed, the collaboration part for me kind of says it's a whole group, whoever is going to be interested in working toward this mission and toward this initiative, that's what collaboration means. So I kind of, get that whole picture with that word. That's just my view, if that makes sense.
Yep. Totally. Thanks. That's exactly what that intentional word choice was about. So thank God it came through, at least for one person. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and as Carrie kind of mentioned that, this middle language works for Benedictine, we've been recognizing this whole time that every institution is structured differently. And so this whole point of this mission statement really is to get something that everybody feels confident about and can work behind. So yeah, thank you for the great feedback so far. Any last thoughts before we move on? Okay, this is also something we can come back to in the networking session later if anyone is interested as well, but I will keep moving along then. So this next part, for a couple minutes, we do want to get some feedback from you all. So we have we've made some fantastic progress in year one. We want to make year two of this project even better. And I am going to pass it off to Shefali to kind of help talk through this part.
Okay, great. Thank you, Elizabeth. So as Elizabeth just said, we spent year one sort of launching this idea, right? And many of you have sat with us through all these meetings. This is our 5th meeting. Some of them took part with nonprofit partners. Some of them were just higher ed audience. The first year was just launching the idea, getting buy-in from all of you. And I got to say, that's the part I think that Natalie, myself, Elizabeth, we were all super blown away by just how many higher ed institutions want to be involved in this. We have about 14 higher ed institutions, and almost all of them have interest, and many of the higher ed partners have participated in meetings. So we spent this time in year one getting buy-in. We created the council's basic infrastructure. Like, for example, we created some recruitment materials for students so that faculty and staff could recruit students into the council. We developed a website. Elizabeth spent a lot of time developing that website and putting resources up there. And also just engaging in one-on-one meetings. I know Elizabeth has met with many of you one-on-one, whether you're a student or faculty or staff member with a higher ed institution, and getting you guys to sort of join on as, light air quotes members and student members. So that's what our year one has looked like, and it's been great progress. Here's where we'd like to head into year two, to get to a place of really forming a council, having 1 to 2 student representatives from every school, along with 1 to 2 faculty or staff representatives from every school, figuring out what kind of meeting schedule we can have, and then really really getting us to that place of the student-led portion of the mission statement, where we really have the students become the leaders of this council, having real ownership and agency over this council and what it's going to become. And so we really kind of want to transition us in year 2 into that space of having more active student participation, of definitely doing more service-oriented projects, and really having the students dig into, and all of us, honestly, on the council, dig into really understanding the community's needs, right? What does the nonprofit community need? And how can we really start tackling some of them through some innovative service ideas, as well as better utilizing your higher ed resources to help the nonprofit community. So I think the next portion, we want to spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes on just some ideas around how do we get that student engagement in year 2. We want to hear the students' feedback, and we know that faculty and staff already always think about this, right? This is already something that you guys are always thinking about, like how do we get students to become leaders and get more involved and engaged? And I'm sure if you guys, you guys probably have a million ideas around it, but here's some of the ideas, and I'm going to mention a couple of them and then pause, and then I'll mention a few more ideas. And you can see the ones that are, let's start with the ones that are just on the slide. The students gave some great suggestions to Elizabeth. Try to have a better social media presence. I got Joan's message loud and clear. Perhaps we should start thinking about TikTok. Jeepers, yet another social network to get in touch with. I don't TikTok, so I don't even know how it works, but that's all right because I'm not a student, but we want to meet the students where they are. Perhaps more social gatherings. The students suggested making sure that we do more group volunteerism, and then more networking opportunities, perhaps with the students and the council as a whole and the community members. And then also creating, like having the council itself create some volunteer projects on their own, which all of these ideas I think are excellent. If you have more ideas, put them in the chat. I know Elizabeth is monitoring. I'm going to share a few more that we had on our end, and then I'm going to take a pause for your feedback. So we know already that campuses are offering a lot of like student leadership programs or leadership training type of either webinars or classes or curriculum around it. But I didn't know if this council could offer any supplemental, like anything else that that the campus itself is not already offering. So we're not being duplicative or trying to compete with what the campus is offering to build student leadership or cultivate student leadership, but how can we add perhaps other training ideas or experiences, even like leadership experiences? Or another idea or another way to slice that is to say, is there an opportunity for us to introduce students directly to leaders like the nonprofit CEOs or to government leaders or company CEOs or to like Chamber of Commerce presidents? Is there an opportunity to pair a student with like maybe a younger mentor or CEO at a social services agency? Like if, let's say, a student has a really strong interest in solving hunger issues, should we pair them up with a CEO or younger mentor at a food pantry or a food bank? So those are some ideas. Again, I'm going to pause here for feedback. What do you guys think? Again, the intention is how can we build more engagement with students in year 2? How can we enlist more student leaders to be a part of the council and participate in the council in year 2? So what do folks think about some of those things?
I like what you said, Shafali. I think those are really good ideas. One of the things that we've been not wrestling with, but what we've decided we have to move forward with College of DuPage's COD Cares initiative is to connect with students who have already done volunteerism at the high school level. Anthony was talking about this before, I think too. What projects resonate with them? What have they done and what do they have a comfort level with? And then what are the other ideas that they would have liked to have done, maybe pushing outside the box a little bit, and that they didn't have the ability because they were at a high school. Now they're at a college or university. The world is open to them. We've got connections that they may not know about on the administrative level. So perhaps we need to have just a brainstorming session with or do a survey of what things are important to them. I know the environment, we've talked to so many students who are interested in the environment, but they like to do something bigger than picking up trash.
Right, sure.
Kind of things.
That's great feedback, Joan. So you might be happy to learn we are going to have some sort of, I don't want to call it intake form, that's not the right word, and it's not even application form, but we are going to have some sort of student interest form to join the council. And those are some of the questions that Elizabeth, I think, has sort of in some format has added to that questionnaire or that sort of form that we want student leaders when they want to join the council. Because we really want student leaders to feel like this is something that they have to join and that this is something that's going to be like a very exciting thing to be a part of. I appreciate that. And that's the kind of, I think Elizabeth is taking notes. Those are the kinds of questions we'll ask. Exactly. What did you do in high school? What are you passionate about? What do you care about? Others? I know there's some students on here who haven't chatted yet. Feel free to chime in.
Anthony had put in the chat to partner with college career service departments to advertise local internship/project opportunities.
Great. We already definitely do that. We'll continue to feed those to the students. We are hearing about a lot of internships, and there are many posted right now at the user group at the portal right now already. And Elizabeth is going to cover a few in this meeting in a minute. Good point. Thank you. Others? Students?
If I can jump in, I think something that I really enjoyed in thinking about at North Central, and I know I wasn't able to go, but I remember that Elizabeth actually had come to North Central and she'd spoke to, at North Central we had this engaged learning kind of initiative, and so like my position at the college is I work with students and professors in their classroom to help them with their community and service projects. And so Elizabeth had come to talk about this and sort of like engage with us and like let us know. And I just feel like that made everything very approachable. And I think that's one thing, especially on the student side of things. And like in my opinion, that, you know, there's those student leaders out there that are just hungry to get involved and they go out there and they go for it. But I think there's also those ones that are a little tentative. You know, maybe are, because I could see like going both ways, like this is an amazing networking opportunity to learn a lot about what's going on in the community. And I think some people can maybe be intimidated, right, as a student going in and not knowing so much. But I think I really enjoyed like learning about that and even coming through with information on like a mission statement and like what this is about and like a social media presence and having those things in there that like show like the student side of the involvement in it, I think makes those things approachable and something you want to go to. But I just wanted to say, I think like these are really great ideas. But I also know like as a student, sometimes it's like, it's a great opportunity, but I think sometimes you don't know if your place is there. So I like how you are very student oriented in your mindset about this. Like you want students to be a part of it. And I think that's a great direction. And I really liked Anthony's idea about partnering with like career services, because students are always looking for internships, always looking for opportunities. And that's how you find out about like really cool stuff like this.
Great, thank you. Definitely spread the word. We want students involved. So tell all the students, this is an awesome thing. Lisa, Lee, I would love to hear from others. Delaney, any others who want to chime in? I don't have first names for everyone, but any others who want to chime in on some of those thoughts or ideas? Carla?
Yeah, and just to kind of tangent to what Brianna was just talking about. So working in career services for many years, one of the things we've always emphasized to students is trying to do some networking and build those relationships with people who are professionals who are working in their field of interest or working in the types of organizations and the types of roles they're interested in pursuing. But as Brianna mentioned, for many students, that's daunting. Even students who have been heavily involved in leadership experiences, et cetera. Sometimes it is still daunting for them. They almost don't know how to approach that conversation, or what to say, how to present themselves, or whatever. So us, the professionals who are already working out there in our nonprofits or in our colleges, we need to help facilitate that. So it's not such a daunting experience for who wants to build those connections.
Great point. Thank you. Elizabeth, let's add an idea. It was on my list to how to become a good networker and help the students just even having those conversations and how you network. How do you introduce yourself at a networking event, right? So really catering and like offering the wording and the language for helping students kind of bridge that gap. So that's great. I know Anthony just added to the chat, so we'll get to that. I'm going to share a few more ideas, but keep the feedback coming. I'm mindful of the time, and we're at almost 2:40. So I'm going to add just a few other thoughts. We also wondered if it would be useful to create like empathetic experiences, right? Since we're talking about addressing community needs or addressing social service issues. So what if we offered an opportunity to learn more about a social issue, like in-depth learning opportunities? Or what if we offered an experience where you could meet people or interact with people who are living that experience? So would it be helpful to interact directly with different clients or people who went through a social service agency and then came out on the other side? So what would that look like? What if if the students or this council identified one social service issue to work on for all of year 2 in the area of poverty, and then create and find service projects and experiences around this? So those are some of the other ideas. What does the group think? Do you think that would be of interest for students and for the faculty and staff to get involved with?
Oh, that would be like a great idea. I've been motivated to volunteer by the stories of people, and it really works. And at the same time, at the end of your volunteering, it really gives you a satisfactory like feeling that you actually changed like these people or this organization in a way, in a personal or in a very big manner. And I believe it's a really good idea. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Thanks, Carla. I like it. Volunteer stories, or the stories around the people who are benefiting from the agencies. So thank you for Carrie for saying yes, and that the poverty presentation was offered at the first gathering is really helpful as a staff member. So offering more resources like that was great. And the poverty presentation is still available, and that recording is still available to everyone in the past meeting materials at the website. So I love it. 60-second volunteer testimonials and advertisements, YouTube shorts. Like you're reading our mind. Stay tuned. We're coming with some ideas on that. I'll share the last round of ideas with you guys quickly. We wondered if offering a student recognition opportunity, either from the DuPage County Board or at our Volapalooza event, would be helpful in getting more students involved. We wondered if having free access to campus compact events or webinars or Giving DuPage events, like Giving DuPage hosts a nonprofit conference. We're about to host soon a virtual civic life webinar series, giving you guys free access, and especially students free access to those materials or attending. Perhaps a letter of recommendation from Giving DuPage for any college students going forward in career opportunities, or just being a reference for the student leaders when they are applying for jobs, for student leaders who really served time on the council for all of year 2. And then we also want to just know, like, and oh, by the way, all these things could become like a benefit statement, so student leaders know exactly what they can expect from us in terms of the benefits being involved with this council. And then we wanted your practical feedback, like your feedback on practical ideas, like should we have food at the meetings? Like, does pizza really help get people there? Should we keep them virtual so more students can attend? Should we always have an in-person gathering, like networking once a year, so the students can meet other student leaders and faculty and staff can interact? So these are some of the other ideas. Please give your feedback on those in the chat, as well as, keep providing that feedback today by unmuting. We can talk in the networking session and also send to Elizabeth on an email, or share your reaction and just, give a thumbs up or something. Do you think if we did a variety of these ideas that we could get a couple of students from each institution and a couple of faculty members involved from each institution? Students, I'm looking to you guys to help us recruit. Get all your good, awesome friends who are other leaders. Candace said, if meetings are in person, food always helps, lunch or dinner hour. Okay, good, duly noted. Thank you. Feedback from anyone else? Feel free to unmute.
As a student, like another great thing is just always supportive faculty. I think I love the faculty at North Central, and it's like if they're excited about it, it helps me feel more confident and excited about what I'm doing, faculty, staff, and everything like that. So I think like that's a great start to engagement, and then empowering students to like further that. So I think definitely all these ideas, and even like as the social media presence gets food, and food always works. The chat's blowing up about food, but I think these are all great ideas.
Awesome. Natalie, did you have any thoughts? Because this is your world. So.
No, I mean, I think the ideas that were generated by the students are great. And I think, I think we have to, as the world opens up, and especially since not all of the schools have announced what their plans are for the fall, and a lot of folks are still doing some hybrid stuff, we're really going to have to think about, it is so wonderful to get people in a room. And I think that networking piece is so great, but we also want to still make it accessible. And so, we're going to kind of be playing around with what that format looks like. Like, is it, in person if you can make it and online if you can't, like, how do we do that? So, I appreciate that folks are excited and that there's, room for experimenting as we move forward.
Nice. All right, well, I'm going to hit it back to you, Elizabeth, because I'm mindful that we have 17 minutes until 3, and then certainly we have networking for 30 minutes, so feel free to stick around, but I want to keep us on schedule, and I know you have a few more slides to get through. Thank you for that feedback, and keep it coming. Keep sending Elizabeth emails or put it in the chat, whatever you feel like.
Yes, always. I am always open to the emails with feedback. They are very fun to receive, actually. So yeah, thank you all so much for sharing the feedback so far. As Shefali shared, definitely if you're interested in sharing more via email or in the networking session later. I'm going to keep on moving for now. So volunteerism, we would love, love, love to end the first year of this council really strong with getting 50 hours of volunteerism reported. Right now, we already have 9, as we saw earlier, reported. So we're on our way to our goal. And so if we could get 50 hours, really prove that this council is, doing what it's supposed to do, getting those students, even faculty and staff, connected with volunteer opportunities and out in the community or virtually to really support our nonprofit organizations. Please join me in trying to accomplish our 50-hour goal by August 30th. I am actually going to jump in now to some different really cool volunteer opportunities. This is to me, a very exciting opportunity that we would love to get some faculty, staff, and students behind. The continuum of care is, you know what, they wrote me a little blurb, so I am going to read that to you all now. So the DuPage County Continuum of Care is charged with promoting community-wide planning and strategic use of resources to address homelessness. They work with community stakeholders to enhance coordination and integration of mainstream services targeted to people experiencing homelessness and supports community programs which assist vulnerable individuals and families within our community. Their vision is that DuPage County residents faced with homelessness will have access to safe, affordable housing and a comprehensive integrated system of support services. And so we've been working with the Continuum of Care to throw together this project idea that we hope faculty, staff, and students will come behind. And this project provides the opportunity to highlight the success of persons with lived experience of homelessness and is very exciting for the Continuum of Care. Formerly homeless individuals and families who have found a path to a healthy and fulfilling lives have a powerful and impactful story that often goes untold. They look forward to the opportunity to work with DHESC members to capture these moments and to share these stories of hope. So that is these lived experience of one, possibly 2 people who are willing to share their story of homelessness in DuPage County. And we're looking for some students to help create these, go through the interview process, as well as creating a video to help share this message with our community and spread word and help everyone understand what it is like to live homeless in DuPage County in our own community. Faculty and staff, we also would like some of you to get behind this as well. We think this could be a really great opportunity to engage some of your schools as well as utilize potentially some cool equipment that you all may have for doing these interviews, different locations, and that kind of thing. That's just a little taste of that one. The next one is with ICNA Relief. They want to create a marketing video. So they are all about alleviating human suffering and providing care and compassionate services to victims of adversities and survivors of disasters and so on. They have a lot that they would like to do, but this project specifically, they are looking for students as well as maybe some faculty and staff within DHESC to work to fine-tune objectives of their organization in a succinct way that will create some sort of marketing video to capture what they do and who they are. Again, looking to spread that message within the community. Bridge Communities is looking for research, program evaluation, and data science volunteers. They have quite a few different things that they do. They also work in homelessness issues. And so their data and program evaluation and research kind of projects that they're looking at are to expand that research in the capacities of policy in housing homelessness and homeless prevention, evaluation of best practices, statistical analysis. You can read the rest, but really this is, they want students, they want faculty and staff as well to get involved in opportunities of service to do some research and data for their organization. These are all linked, by the way. When it says learn more, get involved, that's a link. So when you get the slides later and you're interested in learning more, definitely click on that later. Couple more volunteerism opportunities. So these are a little less big project based. So Project Cure has an opportunity where a group of people can go into their warehouse, and this one specifically is to help pack medical supplies for their organization. The Dresser Building Challenge for groups with Sharing Connections. They are looking for groups to come together and build a dresser. This one does come with a $100 donation for the whole group. But if you want to get a bunch of people together and everybody can do a small donation to get your group and build a dresser. Talent Volunteer is with Community Adult Day Center, and they are looking for people to share their talents to engage the seniors with dementia, physical and mental disabilities in ways such as, even if your talent is reading a book, you can read to them, and that's a really fun opportunity. And Northern Illinois Food Bank is looking for volunteers to sort and repack food. So they get their food boxes, and the volunteers inspect the food, sort the food, and then pack the food to go out to their families in our community. Some more opportunities, food pantry and community services. So Downers Grove Area Fish has an opportunity to work from home, and really it is to help them sort through their phone messages. So they connect you with their system, and you can sit at the comfort of your own couch, sorting through their phone messages and helping it get to the right person within their organization. A different experience that you will not necessarily think of with volunteering. Cars the Pope is looking for web design support and a blog writer. So somebody who has some experience with that, they are definitely looking for some help there. Blessings in a Backpack. I want to highlight this one because some of our own student reps did this one. The Blessings in a Backpack is very excited. So to kind of give you a little bit of background on this, these are note cards that they're just positive sayings on note cards that anybody can write, and they put them in the backpacks and the packs they give to their participants. And I heard a really great story from this organization that some of the participants that get these note cards have been collecting them. Then since they've been getting these, and they have notebooks full of them, and it's sometimes the only thing that they really find positive in that day. And so it's definitely a really cool opportunity, and I am so glad that we have had some students do that through the council. And so this is for Abundant Family and Children and Family Services. They have a free school supply drive. They are looking for donations. So if you're not really looking to do some in-person or virtual volunteering, you can help donate some items to this school supply drive. So we talked about internships earlier. As Shefali mentioned, there are a lot of internships and even full-time job opportunities posted on the portal, and especially with the council user group on the volunteer portal. These are just 4 of them. There are so many more. And these may not be paid, or they're paid or unpaid internships, depending on what the organization posts, but they are definitely fantastic, real life experiences supporting our community and those local organizations. And so Love Christian Clearinghouse has an access database intern position open. Latinas on the Plaza is looking for a social media intern. Sustain DuPage would like a graphic design intern, and NEDFYS would like a communications intern. And this now does not just go for people within the council, our members. This is anybody. If you know someone who can fill this role, faculty and staff, if you can push these out to the students that you know, or if you know somebody who would be a great fit. Part of the council, like we said, we're addressing the needs of the community and even spreading the word about these opportunities to others who can fill these roles is just as important as us filling them ourselves. So for those of you who don't know, I am an AmeriCorps member, and an AmeriCorps member does a year of service. Oh, okay, I'm getting a little emotional right now. So I am the AmeriCorps member for this project with title Project Manager. My service year ends August 30th, and we are looking to fill my role, find my replacement. If anybody is interested, we are looking for somebody who is highly motivated, a self-starter, relationship-driven, has knowledge of various designs and technologies. Definitely somebody who wants to work with both community organizations and higher education, and is interested in creating collaborative partnerships. If anybody has any questions, you can email us at givingdupage@dupageco.org, or you can email me to ask about the position. It starts August 2nd, so we're looking to fill that role to start August 2nd. And then that person will be my replacement, and bringing this council into and through year 2, and all the success we know will come from that. Does anybody have any questions on any of the volunteer opportunities or on this position? Anything?
I just want to clarify that there is no replacing Elizabeth. We will find someone else to do this work with us, and we are so excited to have the support of Vista. But Elizabeth has been amazing, and this will not be a replacement. This will hopefully be a new superstar to do similar work.
Ditto, Natalie. Ditto. This is, by the way, the Vista is, there is a stipend that comes with this position. So it is not an unpaid experience. There is a monthly stipend, or every 2 weeks, whatever it is, but it's nothing that you're going to help you go get like a BMW tomorrow, but it's still something.
And from personal experience, I can say that I have learned so much more than I ever expected to in this position. So if you are looking to start off and get a lot of great work experience and learn new skills, this is definitely a fantastic opportunity for that, if anyone is interested. Again, feel free to reach out with questions if anyone wants to learn more. And I want to highlight again that there are more job opportunities. There are 56 nonprofit job opportunities on the portal right now that need to be filled. And this is a button as well if you would like to go back to that later. But again, help spread that word. That's definitely under our drafted mission statement of addressing those nonprofit community needs.
I'll just add that, like, in the last 2 weeks or in the last month, I've gotten like at least 10 phone calls or emails from different students. I don't know how they find our information, but they're like, oh, do you have an internship? Do you have a job? I mean, apparently jobs are on everyone's mind, and certainly the nonprofit community is like screaming to fill positions. So even the ones that don't post on our portal, but I encourage everyone to share job opportunities. Even if it's not the right one for you, please share broadly. People are looking to fill positions, and clearly students are interested in finding jobs.
Yes. So I'm sure you all saw it. That sneak peek of the next slide. We've been talking about food, and I hope the pizza on this page makes you just as hungry as it makes me. We are really hoping that we can do an in-person networking and pizza party meeting that will really focus on our students and getting everybody involved, but faculty and staff, you are of course welcome as well. The date is to be determined. We're going to try and figure out what works best for everybody, but we're thinking late July, early August. Location is also TBD, but what we're really hoping to do in that is it's really not the next DHESC meeting. It's just to get everybody in a room to start networking, maybe do a group volunteer project that day. Who knows, maybe we'll write some note cards, positive note cards. Hopefully a pizza party. We would love to bring everyone together with food and possibly an instructional session as well. These are things that we hope, and we hope everybody will get engaged. By instructional session, I mean exactly what kind of we were talking about earlier is, you know, some sort of, whether it's how to put volunteerism on your resume or, you know, the benefits of volunteering, some sort of useful information that students and possibly faculty and staff as well could take with from that meeting and utilize. And hopefully an in-person DHESC meeting. I won't be around, but for faculty, staff, and students, the next meeting like this, we are planning in late December with, again, location TBD. That one may be virtual or in person. We're hoping in person because we'd love to get everybody together, but we do want to accommodate everyone's needs as well.
Elizabeth said late December, but she meant late September.
Did I really?
Yes, you did.
Maybe
It's
I'm
okay,
just
though.
thinking about Christmas. That's all right.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
It's okay. It's all right. September, though, for sure. September.
Yeah, September, late September. Yeah, so keep those in mind. I will definitely be sending some emails, hopefully working with students to figure out a great day that works for the July-August meeting, and then possibly sending out a save the date for the September meeting as well. So next steps from today, super easy next steps. We want everybody to do some service, complete summer service projects. We would love to reach that 50-hour goal of volunteerism. That would be a fantastic outcome for us in this first year of the council. For only having begun this work in August, for us to be able to do 50 hours of service by the end of August would be fantastic. And please report those volunteer hours on the portal user group. This is an instructional video link on how to do that if you're not familiar, or reach out to me as well. I'd be happy to help out, but definitely report those hours, do that summer service. We want to start getting this council connected with nonprofit organizations and the community as a whole to help really solidify our purpose here. And again, share any feedback with me. That's my email. We definitely want to hear feedback, and we want to make year 2 of this project a fantastic success. And with that, thank you all for joining. I so appreciate everyone's feedback and input today. There's our contact information and social media if you would like to connect with Campus Compact or Giving DuPage. Thank you again.
Can I ask for feedback from people on the different volunteer projects we saw, or even the Continuum of Care project? Or, I mean, we really are interested in finding out, like she went through those a lot very quickly on purpose, but if you have feedback, please share it here really quickly. We want to know if that was a good teaser to help you guys share with students and service ideas. Nodding heads, that's good. That's always a good sign. Any of the first, if for folks who this is their first meeting, can you share feedback on sort of how this was for you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Yesenia Maldonado. I'm from National University of Health Sciences. First meeting. Elizabeth, wonderful introduction to this opportunity. So we're very excited, and today was very informative. Thank you. We're very excited about what all of this means for us, for the community, for our students, just everybody. Thank you.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I got a new work laptop, so it's taking me a minute to set it all up. But this is my first meeting, and I'm with Chamberlain College of Nursing, and we have a lot of student organizations that love to do volunteer work. So I'm excited. We couldn't get any to come today. I have a meeting with them in a couple weeks, so I'm going to show them all of this and propose this and get some great student leaders. But I'm really excited. This was a great meeting and it sounds like a great organization. So I'm glad we were able to connect and be a part of this.
It's also my first time at this meeting, and I work at Wheaton College in our office for ministry and evangelism. And our office is sort of rebranding this fall, and we have different ministry teams that are really student initiated. So it really lines up well with the student-led aspect of this council. And yeah, so we're excited to see if students feel excited about these different opportunities that are before us.
This is my first meeting as well, and I'm at National along with Yesenia, and I'm very excited to learn about this. It's a little overwhelming because there are so many opportunities, and you're just like, oh, that sounds like great. Oh, that sounds like a good one. So, but the other thing I want to mention, and I know you all know this, but it's not only like giving to the community, but it's what it does for the student or the volunteer. And we have students reflect on their service, and they talk about how it changed them and like what their perception was before, and then what their perception is after. So it's kind of makes a circular, it completes that circle for them. And I just wanted to mention that too. So thank you for this.
Great feedback. Thank you, everyone. So glad to have everyone with us. And that you're still with us in June. Like that, it's a miracle we have this many of you in June. Like, I don't know. And without pizza. I don't know how we did it. Okay, well, we can stick around, right, Elizabeth? We have networking, is that right?
Yep, it is 3:03. Sorry, now past a little bit, but yeah, anyone who wants to stick around and do the networking, thanks everybody, especially the newcomers who joined us today. We are gonna, if you want to stick around, I'm actually gonna stop sharing my screen so we can see everybody. But for those of you who have to go